I think I should let it cool down. Welcome back to the shop, everyone. Right now I'm standing in the metal shop because we're about to get started on another industrial build. And you're probably thinking, you need one of these to get this thing done. Well, got some news for you. You don't. In this project, I went to the big box store and I picked up some aluminum. And what we're gonna do in this video is, instead of weld, we're gonna braze a table base together. So one bonus to aluminum is that for all of you that are sitting there going, but John, I don't have a welder and I don't have this absurd metal shop. You're probably thinking, how the hell am I gonna get any of this done? Well, here's the thing. You don't need a grinder, you don't need a metal shop, you don't need a metal table, you don't need a welder. Yes, I'm serious. I've teamed up with Braddock on this build, and what we're gonna do is show you how you can make some industrial furniture just like the stuff you guys have seen me making in the past, just like the stuff you've seen me build my business on in the past, and we're gonna do it without using any metalworking tools. Aluminum is a super easy product to work with. You can pretty much use whatever tools you want to cut it. So basically what that means is you can use your chop saw, or your miter saw, or your circular saw, or a karate chop. We're gonna use our chop saw to break this down. Swing! All right, so check it out. This is my standard miter saw. You guys are used to seeing it. It's been in like every video I've ever made. No special blade. It's not brought down or anything. It cuts aluminum like butter. Anybody can do this on their own. Bloop. Line her up. Sun and cool to the touch. So all the parts are cut for the base based on the design that I made. And here are a couple offcuts. I want to get a practice first. So we have a woodworking file here, an old one that I found somewhere. We're going to chamfer the edges. That way the brazing rod has somewhere to go and somewhere to penetrate in between two pieces of aluminum. Everything's prepped and ready to go. One last thing you want to do is make sure that your metal's nice and clean before you do any brazing. We did that with one of these brushes, and then I'm going to use a woodworking clamp with none of the plastic on it to hold everything together. If you're wondering, how are we going to heat this thing? That is where the next part comes in. Here we've got two options for heat. One is going to be propane. It's the blue can you guys are used to seeing. This is your standard nozzle. This uses a striker to create a spark. There's the heat. This is the volume amount. And then this yellow can, if you guys are used to seeing in my content, is MAP gas. It burns a lot hotter, and then I have the automatic trigger much faster. So I'm going to be using this. Both work great. All right, kids, so the way this works is you want to preheat the metal, then add the filler. And so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna heat the metal up. This is a filler rod, specifically for aluminum. We're just gonna drip it in that after this is hot enough. I believe it's like 800 degrees to melt the filler rod and like 1200 degrees to melt the aluminum. Yeah, I wish there was like a visual cue. That seems to be all right, what we were looking for. Okay, so test one. I think I played with them a little bit too much before they cooled off. So I broke it. I done broke it. So we're gonna try this again, and I'm gonna take a little bit of a different approach to it. What we've discovered, pretty strong joint. So what we've discovered and what I know is that aluminum is a metal that is a heat sink. It dissipates heat quickly, and that's why it's transferring to the wood so quickly, and that's why it smoldered and burned the wood. But it also happened though was that I had it over clamped, and it kind of smushed this outside edge in. So I need to be careful when I glue up the actual base to keep the clamping pressure nice and soft, and then take my time. Once we turned the fan on, it took about 3 to 5 minutes to cool off before I could handle it and move it. Once I got a ton of heat on it, it kind of messed up the joints as well. So this one like bubbled and remelted after I already did it. So just got to be aware of that. But I think I'm ready to kind of tackle the base. So one thing when you're doing stuff like this is you want to build things in steps. Now I know I have 4 of these similar parts. You guys are noticing. So I'm just batching out certain tasks. I know I need those to cool off, right? So I'm making all of these L's first, and then I'll start building boxes. It's a little bit slower than welding, but that's the point. I got greedy. I put too much heat in this corner and it literally released every joint. Now this thing is still scorching, so I'm gonna try to clamp it and put it back together. All right, so this thing is warm enough that I can grab it without burning my fingers. So we're gonna test its strength. Crazy though is look how super light this thing is. All right, here we go, Sam. For those of you that are wondering, I weigh 277.4 pounds in the nude. What? Wow. Whoop. It made a crank. I don't think we're ever going to use this table for anything that weighs more than this. So, all in all, not bad. Let's get some paint on it. I've got some universal bonding primer because the box store was out of self-etching. All right. Let that dry overnight. Cool, so this thing dried up nicely. It's looking good. I've got to drill some holes to, God, I knew that idiot would forget. Good thing I'm brilliant. He's so fat and stupid, I swear. I need to make a top.
Hey moron, I knew you'd forget.
Huh? Can I help you? I knew you'd forget. So I made this for you, you dumbass. Who are you? Oh, I'm you from yesterday. You know, a little better looking, a little more intelligent. I know you have CTE, so you'd probably forget. So here you go. So weird. You're welcome? Well, let's see how that idiot did. Ooh, he's got good taste. Doesn't look too bad, huh, guys? Let's get some mounting holes. Wrap this thing up. I'm using a sloppy hole. That way there's a little bit of room for movement. The table's so small that there shouldn't be a ton of movement. We got ourselves a nice, above average piece of furniture. Thank you guys so much for checking out this build. I hope you learned something. I learned a ton. This was a really fun project. If you want to see more of these industrial furniture pieces that I've made in the past, I got one queued up for you right here. Also, YouTube thinks that you're going to dig this video. I want to thank Braddock for sponsoring this build. I've got a link down in the description to all of the tools I used in this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and go punch your next project in the face.